company based in Ukraine?
I don't
Was
like
that not
it,
a slap
Kristen.
in the face
I
to the
don't
peace
I don't
process?
like it, Kristen, but this is a war, and this is why we want to stop the killing. The Russians have done a lot of things that we don't like. A lot of civilians have died. We've condemned that stuff from the get-go. And frankly, President Trump has done more to apply pressure and to apply economic leverage to the Russians, certainly than Joe Biden did for 3.5 years when he did nothing but talk, but do nothing to bring the killing to a stop. So you asked me what I'm enraged by. What I'm enraged by is the continuation of the war. What I'm enraged by is a presidency and Joe Biden who for 3 years did nothing to end the killing. What I'm actually excited about right now is that we have a president who's engaging in energetic diplomacy to try to stop the killing. That's as it should be. I think the American people should be proud of it. And whatever the outcome of this, whether the war ends in 3 months or 6 months or hopefully not beyond, but maybe, we should be proud that we have a president who's trying to stop the killing. He's done it, by the way, 6 wars that the president has brought to a close all over the world. This would be the 7th. It's the most complicated, but we're trying despite that.
Gray, as the Democrat on the line, do you think that Joe Biden is the president that's responsible for this ongoing conflict in the Ukraine?
What I'll say is it happened under Joe Biden's administration. I won't necessarily say that he's responsible, but to respond to what J.D. Vance says, where he has some truth, is that Trump did put sanctions on India and China as far as like with oil. So he is doing something economically to try to crush the Russian ruble. So they are doing something, and Joe Biden didn't do that, but I don't think he explained that well.
Okay. Andre, what do you think? Who do you blame for the ongoing conflicts right now in the Ukraine?
Well, I blame every president going back to the 90s. I blame every president going back since the creation of Ukraine. We wouldn't be in this mess had we had not been trying to expand eastward with putting missiles in, we did it with Turkey. We put missiles in Turkey, troops in Turkey, getting them into NATO. We did this with trying to expand other people from these former Eastern Bloc countries into NATO. So this is kind of, Russia's line in the sand. We're going to let you expand. We're going to let you do whatever. We're going to let you do as much as you want. But Ukraine is the final thing, because as we know historically, the back door into Russia is Ukraine. We've seen this with Napoleon, his conquest into Russia. We've seen this with, the painter man during Operation Barbarossa. So we look at historically, this has always been a line in the sand for the Russian. It's like, well, what the hell? So we go back to, look at, Minsk 1 and 2, look at the Maidan coup and what happened. I mean, every administration has failed in trying to solve this crisis. And I think, President Putin had no choice but to go into Ukraine, and rightfully so. They've had their hiccups, but we know at the end of the day, they're going to win. The Ukrainians have really no leverage. They lost in Kursk. They lost 70,000 troops in Kursk, completely encircled there. We're looking at in Sumy, they're building a buffer zone. That's taken slowly. We're looking at what's happening right now in Kupiansk. They're pushing very fast. They've taken a lot of territory over the last few weeks. So it's not looking good for the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians thinking that they're going to negotiate something out of this. No. The best thing is that they take all of the Donbass and leave it there, or they can be cut off at the Dnieper, and we split Ukraine into 2, which will completely destroy Ukraine out of the way, or we can landlock Ukraine, and Ukraine is completely screwed, and now depending on Western support. So when we're looking at all these people talking about let's put troops and all that, no, the United States should have really no involvement in that. The Europeans want to go do that. Let the Europeans do whatever they want to do. They always end up screwing themselves over in the end, and we got to come save them. We're not doing that again. We're done with that. So we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, almost every president has failed in trying to solve this issue. We'll see what Trump does. I don't think it's going to be anything that would be, in my opinion, good at the end of the day.
Heaven, what's your thoughts as somebody that was in the military for almost 20 years? Thank you for your service. What do you suspect is going to be the next moves potentially at this point under President Trump?
When it comes to suspecting his next moves, you never know. But I do understand that every time Trump has spoken to Putin, even when he just saw him, right? Putin, regardless of the conversation and how well it goes back and bombs something. And an escalation closer to the United States. And this was a U.S. facility. there were people in the US there. We have a lot of our troops already on the line in that area. Ukraine was the buffer zone. Ukraine was set up kind of like the buffer zone. You had Russia, and then you had this Ukraine area, and then you had like the, neutral areas, and then you had the NATO. So when Russia started the war and invaded Ukraine, that's what provoked Ukraine to then try to join NATO for protection, because that was the whole deal, was Ukraine could not join NATO. It would, hey, no, Ukraine cannot be in NATO, and Russia would be fine with that, but Russia wouldn't attack and try to expand. But when Russia entered Ukraine, they broke that treaty, or that agreement. I see you shaking your head. I did 15 years active duty Army, and that's almost half of over half of your lifespan. So please.
I understand, Heaven. We don't need to use that as like a
no.
Oh,
What
okay.
you're giggling
because I think that you're wrong.
Disrespectful to my 15 years of service.
It's not disrespectful to your 15 years. That's disrespectful to your opinion, if that's anything, Heaven. We're not talking about service here. You're bringing up service for what reason? We both serve. Heaven, we both serve.
I did 15.
That's
You're
nice.
only
We both
24.
Serve.
Get it together.
That's great. I can have a different opinion. I can have a different perspective on the world.
Correct. But no one on this panel has sat here and laughed at your opinions.
I'm shaking my head.
We're taking them in. We're listening respectfully. And you can disagree, but you cannot disagree disrespectfully.
How is it disrespectful?
So the immaturity, the laughing and giggling, we're having a grown-up conversation here.
It is a grown-up conversation.
She asked
you're doing
me,
a appeal to
what
authority.
I was asked was my personal opinion based off my military service, which again has been over half of your life existence.
That's nice.
So yes, do you have service? I'm sure you have a few years. But
yeah, I did my time and you did your time.
Doesn't talk.
It doesn't matter. Your service.
So
let me tell you, why are we comparing service here? I can have a difference in opinion on you. I think that your world perspective is weak. I think that your understanding of the war is not concurrent with the world. That's nice.
That's why.
Authority. That's cool. But guess what? Your opinion is not something that anyone like Jeffrey Sachs or even General McGregor would agree with, or anything that the State Department agreement.
It's
not lining up. It's not lining up with the history.
No one asked you if you agree. Okay. No one asked you, Andre.
You're flexing your medals. That's cool.
What was
That's great.
asked to me,
the
question that was directed to me specifically was answered by me specifically, because you're sitting there laughing.
I cannot like your opinion. I don't know why you're getting heated.
You don't have. I don't like your opinion, but I'm not sitting here laughing.
But you're attacking me like, you're laughing.
Okay, time out.
What is it?
We're supposed to be having a grown-up conversation, and if you want to be
it is a grown-up conversation. You're the one acting like the child right now because you're crashing out because someone didn't like what you said. That's what
I'm calling you out for being.
I can laugh at what you're saying because I find that to be true or not to be concurrent with how reality is. I can laugh at that.
All right, guys, we got about.
That's like in kindergarten when little boys laugh at
25 years of military service on this call, guys. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Go ahead to the next topic, Nora.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the next topic because I want to respect all of y'all. Y'all have all served each Army and Air Force. So let's go on to the next. We're gonna talk about John Bolton now, guys. Whew. All right. So John Bolton, as you guys may or may not know, is under a formal FBI investigation. They're looking for documents that they say he may potentially have in his home. Some people are calling this a retribution. Kristen Welker asked JD Vance about this. And the question is this a retribution? And we'll answer it. Here we go.
You shouldn't throw people willy-nilly in prison. You should let the law drive these determinations, and that's what we're doing.
But a lot of people have already looked at this and said, this looks a lot like retribution. Is this retribution?
Well, who has said it looks a lot like retribution, Kristen? A lot of people who tried to throw Donald Trump in prison for completely fake charges that were later thrown out by multiple different courts. I suspect that if the media and the American people let this case actually unfold, if they let the investigation unfold as it's currently doing, they're going to find out that what we're doing is being very deliberate and being very driven by the national interest and by the law here. And that's as it should be. You shouldn't throw people willy-nilly in prison. You should.
So this is funny. It kind of feels like a repeat of Trump. Like he's saying you shouldn't do that, but people feel like that's what they're now doing to John Bolton. Gray, do you agree or disagree? Do you think that this is retribution, or do you think the investigation is justifiable?
Trump is known for getting back at people he doesn't like or people that's crossed him. John Bolton was a Republican. He worked in Trump's administration. Then he all of a sudden gets raided. I think Trump is going to go after his personal enemies now and to the end of his administration.
Heaven, do you think that this is a retribution, or do you agree with this investigation?
I agree with Gray on this one. I think it's retribution, and I think he'll continue to do it.
How about you, Andre? What do you think? Do you think it's retribution, or do you think it's justifiable?
Most definitely justifiable. I mean, I've never liked John Bolton either way. We look at his track record being in the Bush administration. This is somebody who brought us the destruction of Iraq. This is someone who's brought us the failed foreign policy in the Middle East. So I really don't care if he's going after by a Democrat or Republican. I mean, screw John Bolton at the end of the day. It is what it is. But we'll see what comes of it. You know, I know it is hypocritical of Trump to, you know, cry about being attacked when he was not, of course, the president during the campaign season. And then, of course, now he's doing the John Bolton. But, you know, it pretty much is. We see this all. This happens a lot within government. People go after political opponents all the time. It's something that's new to see a president do it so aggressively and so out in the open. But I mean, this has already been set, so we'll see what happens after it.
Well, I got more information about the raid. This is a clip that I was able to locate from Fox News. They're saying it's due to financial things that he may have done. Let me play the clip.
This might have nothing to do with classified documents or about classified intelligence that Bolton printed in his book. Trump Justice Insider Mike Davis says Democrats, rhinos, and reporters who think this raid on John Bolton is about his book will be very embarrassed when the search warrant becomes public. Primetime's hearing Bolton was making a lot of money from overseas and may have been trafficking in intelligence. That wouldn't be putting America first. Constitutional scholar Jonathan Turley, who we just heard from, says Bolton could be looking at up to 20 years in prison. So Bolton should take his own advice and take a big, beautiful, deep breath.
I think it's important that everybody take a deep breath here. This is a very serious matter, and it would be better if
this might have nothing to do with class.
So pretty much they're saying that he was sending classified documents to family members, but now we're hearing it's a financial thing. Gray, based on this new information, him potentially taking kickbacks and getting money, sounds like laundered to him. Do you now agree with the investigation? Has that changed your opinion?
Yeah, if it's corruption, of course, he should be put under the jail if it's real. I mean, the problem is how much information can we trust from the DOJ? I'm not a John Bolton fan. I mean, I really don't care what happens with him, but how much information can we really trust? In Joe Biden's administration, I can trust it, but now I'm a little bit more skeptical.
So let me ask you a question. Did you trust Joe Biden's administration when they said that he was competent to run the country? Because clearly that was a lie.
I was on this show. We watched the debate. D. White, he actually started a podcast with us. We were on there. I didn't say, oh, this looks great. I said, this looks horrific. But that's totally different than the Department of Justice, than Joe Biden lying about his age. An old person never knows when to quit. So I think that's different, but I trusted, what's the guy name? I can't think of his attorney general name, but I trusted that guy. I don't trust Pam Bondi like that.
The one from New Orleans, or the fat one. God,
No,
I forget.
I'll look it up. Go to somebody else. I'll look it up.
Okay, wait, look it up.
Nice.
I'm
The heavy set one.
The fat one. Yes, he's fat.
Yeah, I can't think of her name, but yet she was horrible. Oh my goodness, she was the ugliest Janet Reno to me, honestly.
Who? No, I'm talking about
Merrick Garland. Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
was even. Well, still, he was even terrible as well. I thought you were talking about someone else for a
I'm
second.
talking about the one that arrested that when Epstein hanged himself. I'm talking about him.
Oh, who was that? Yeah, who was that?
I forget his name. Y'all need to find it for me. I'm sorry.
I'll try to find it.
I mean, hold on.
Yeah.
Was it Jeff Sessions?
No, that was the one that I think he said he trusted from the first administration. He doesn't.
Oh no, I hated Jeff Sessions. He was terrible.
I don't know
Oh,
how you
goodness.
trusted that administration at all.
Well, I mean,
Great,
how can you
that's
trust
just-
any administration? But you know,
I mean, at
Agreed.
this point, I don't trust none of them. I mean,
I
they
don't
literally
trust
lied
any.
for 4 years about Joe Biden's health, and they had his son, who's a known crack addict, attending meetings on his behalf. But anyways, I digress.
They lied
Kevin-
about weapons of mass destruction.
yeah, they lied about that. You think they're gonna
That put me in the desert.
Who, Biden?
All of them, everyone, Bush,
Oh,
All of
everyone.
them.
Clinton administration.
It started a 20-year war.
Oh, see, that's something y'all agree on. Okay,
30 years if
W.
you count the special operations and what they've done to CIA and so on. So I mean,
And
30
and
plus
then
years.
also the dismantling of a lot of the, because we had so many cops and fobs over there that had to be dismantled. And they were like whole towns dang near.
Oh, you talking about Bill Barr? Bill Barr.
Man,
Bill
stop.
Barr, yeah, that's
Yeah,
why I said
yeah.
he was as ugly as Janet Reno to me. I
Yeah.
looked at him like he was disgusting. So good thing he's
He's a liar, though. He lied. Like, I don't know.
They
Nevertheless,
all lie.
Yeah, they're
I
politicians,
know they
American
lie.
politicians. That's the best thing we do. That's how we get reelected. We have people that lie constantly.
Oh, you lie?
Huh? Do I lie?
You
I'm
said-
not a politician.
Hey, you said we.
I said
just picked
American
up.
politicians. That's
You
what
said
we do in
we
terms of
lie.
we royally.
I
Okay?
don't lie.
I don't know
if
what
I said
office
that,
I've
then
got
I
other
would've
than
said politicians lie.
I
wouldn't
I
have
did. I
said
started
we
with that with
lie.
American politicians. We lie.
You just said we. I just asked.
We as
It
in
was just a
our
question.
politicians is it
I
our
was
people in this
asking.
country.
I said, "Do you lie?" Because you included yourself. I was just
Yeah,
asking.
but am I a
Hey,
politician?
man, come on now.
If I
just
start
asked-
off
I
with
just-
y'all agree
American
on.
politicians and I say
I was just
I make
asking a
it
question. Because
Go
you
ahead,
said
Nora.
we. I was just asking.
kind of like
Oh,
a
just a
shitty point to
question.
really make.
Okay.
I wanted to clarify. I wanted to make sure.
Do
But
I
I
lie?
wanted to
Yeah,
talk
I
to
lie.
someone who's honest.
I lie sometimes.
Oh.
Okay, well, thank you for being honest that time. I appreciate
I'm lying
your
right there
honesty.
too. I don't know if it's being
Well,
honest.
that's
Nora.
Yeah.
so you just lied. So you are a
I'm
liar then.
I'm lying
waiting to
again.
start.
Yeah.
Terrible.
All right.
Don't do that.
So the next
Get
clip
it
I
together, Andre.
have, not Andrew, Andrew.
I'm
All
sorry.
right, the next clip I have.
Well, look. I'm reading. It has the W after the Andre Williams, so it's like Andrew. I'm sorry.
All right, here we go. Is
My bad.
Bolton's last interview 12 days ago.
Before you go, we're about to talk about Trump's retribution campaign we're seeing at the FBI and the Justice Department. You're obviously on his enemies list, at least Kash Patel's enemies list. Are you worried that they're going to come after you in some way? I mean, he's hinted at it before.
Well, I think he's already come after me and several others in withdrawing the protection that we had for from the
Iranians, right?
Iranians for the attack on Qasem Soleimani. So I think, and I said in the new forward to the paperback edition of my book, I think it is a retribution presidency.
Before you go, we're about to talk about Trump's retribution campaign we're seeing at the FBI. And
So that was just 12 days ago, coincidentally. Do you think that him saying that in an interview, Gray, is why they raided his home, or was it just a coincidence?
I feel like him and Trump have had beef this whole time. I mean, I don't know what Kash Patel's plan is as far as the FBI. He said they were going to turn the J. Edgar Hoover building into a museum, but he seems to trying to be doing some type of law enforcement work. So I don't know particularly like if it's going to be a trend of going after political opponents or if they're actually going to do actual law enforcement work.
Andre, do you agree with that, or do you think it's just a poor coincidence?
I agree with Gray. You know, I don't know what Kash Patel's doing. I mean, I guess this is what happens when you get these types of people within the department. I really don't know what to expect from him. I don't really think it's connected at all. It is what it is. Like I said, I never liked John Bolton. I like this is happening to him. I don't really care about John Bolton. I want to see some few other people get taken down a notch as well. We'll see what happens, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Heaven, what's your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think it's retribution now that we know more? Because you didn't answer the last round.
It is retribution. I think it is, but also because he knows there's corruption, he knows he can go after them because he knows their corruption.
So he knows where the bodies are buried, basically. So
Exactly. He's
yeah.
been doing this. He's been in this game for a long time, even before he was in politics. So he knows who's dirty. And I would like to see the Epstein list and all of those people, right or left, it doesn't matter, out. I would like to see anybody who's paid millions of dollars by AIPAC out. Because all of these things to me are treasonous.
I can agree with you there.
Our money should not be going to Israel. Our money should be going to our healthcare here. So that way we can have mental health services and free education for our kids and the things that we deserve. And I want to see everybody on the Epstein list and the actual whole list go down. I don't care who it is globally, all of them. Because it's not just Democrats and Republicans that are on the list. It's a lot more than just Americans on that list. There's a lot more people that need protecting or that are protecting that.
True. No, I agree. Andre, what do you think about the list? You never talked about it on our show. You think there's a list? You think that the Trump administration is lying?
Yeah, I think the list is in Tel Aviv, and Mossad has it. They've had it for years.
We agree on other.
I want to see it. Yeah, we agree, Heaven. Yeah, we do. Yeah, I want to see the list too. I really don't care, Democrat, Republican. I'm not this establishment. It's like, well, if they're Republicans, I don't want to see it. I don't care about that. Get these people out either way. We look at corruption since the 60s. I really counted 40 years, but we can go back since JFK. That's really the last government I can really say historically a lot of people trusted and had faith in. But compare that to today, I mean, yeah, all these people are probably on some kind of list, Shaniqua's list of, prostitutes, whatever. They got a list of something that they're on, someone's notebook. And I want to see it all. And we can judge them based on how we feel. But, I think it's kind of, as we know historically, politicians, governments, people within them have always been corrupt, and they've always been doing corrupt things. And to demand that they expose themselves is kind of like not a snowball's chance in hell is going to ever happen. The only time we're actually going to see that list is if we run to the White House or, like I said, run into Tel Aviv. I don't know if I could say that without being called an anti-Semite, but if we run into Tel Aviv, maybe
at this point, legally, if any state boycotts the state of Israel, they are denied FEMA funding. So if I can talk about my country negatively and I can talk about my president negatively, why can I not talk about another country's negatively?
Exactly.
Because I, as an ordained minister, also study religions and study the Torah and all of the things that they are doing are against their own religion. And there are many, many Jewish people who stand up against it. And even in Tel Aviv. So that's a whole nother story.
That's a long one. I don't know if YouTube look that up.
I don't think that would ever I don't think we're allowed to speak on that.
Yeah, well, it's great that
we know it.
10 years ago you weren't allowed to have these conversations. Now you can talk about it. You were censored and silent if you talked about anything criticizing Israel or AIPAC. That was deemed as you're a neo-Nazi if you talked about AIPAC. Now
I've had 4 TikTok pages taken down.
Oh wow!
And it's really like posting. I don't post like you do a lot of like talking stuff on TikTok. I don't do that.
Yeah, I talk too much on TikTok. That's why they take me down. The moment I start talking about Israel. I
Well,
think I
that's
would do it
just something
faster.
you do a lot of, just in
I do.
general. As
I
a,
do.
like, not a judgment, because I don't judge. I just make assessments like based off of actions and logic. I'm not a judgy person.
So since you guys brought this up, this is a breaking news thing because we have 3 more stories to cover. And last night, unfortunately, there were 4 more journalists that were unalived in Gaza. And it appears that whether intentional or unintentional, the journalists are a target. And this is something that I think, we should touch on. I'm going to play the clip. I believe this was on Al Jazeera TV. 2 of them were AP News. One of